Hello there YouTube, and welcome to my series F1 Talking Points. This is where I talk about every single race of the F1 season. First thing I want to talk about though, why did Perez stay out on the super softs in qualifying? Button came in, had the common sense to say, no, these aren't working, let's go back on the inters. But Perez there, potentially costing him a slot in Q3 with that. That's a very big mistake, but he's young, he's learning, etc. So, on to the race. The obvious talking point from this race is obviously the tyres and who can make the super softs last. Now, half the drivers the drivers that started on them were in within the first 6 or 7 laps. And that really does make things interesting. I think Button came in after lap 4, but those tyres just fall off so quickly. And to those who started on the medium tyre, to have to run them at the end can be seen as a disadvantage, as we saw with Suthill falling from 5th to 7th. But, I mean, it's really coming back down to, again, on who can make tyres last in general, because strategy was a key point in deciding the race today, as Kimi Raikkonen took the win doing 2 stops, and Alonso got second doing 3. So, yeah, Raikkonen, in being able to make his tyres last, Raikkonen won that race through doing that, and Alonso got second. Obviously, Vettel got third behind him. Bit of a quiet race for him, really. Normally, you'd expect Vettel, once he's up the front, to be untouchable, but today he really wasn't. And that's quite good to see, that in that Red Bull, he has not got what we all thought he had in qualifying. In the race, he just genuinely seemed to struggle with overall consistent race pace. But still, 3rd place, not bad start the season. I mean, the first championship he took in 2010, he finished 4th. 4th today was Massa. Again, another solid effort from Massa. He's really put aside the difficulties he had early last year now, and he's starting to put in some really good drives. And yeah, I was impressed to see that he was able to make the top 4 today. And then Lewis Hamilton, in his first race for Mercedes, grabbed 5th. Which also I think deserves a little bit of a... because obviously it's your first race in a new team, you're not quite sure how it's all going to handle, and overall he impressed me today, and I think there is more to come from that Mercedes. But then again, I also think there's more to come from Ferrari and the Lotus, maybe even the Red Bull, but I definitely think there is more to come from Hamilton. I don't think we've seen the best of him just yet. So the rest of the top 10 then was Webber, Suthill and Di Resta. Force India, a stunning race by their standards, a great way to start the season for them, and it's great to see Suthill making a good comeback as well. He's been out for a year, obviously, because of certain difficulties, but he's now back, and straight away he's come back and he's finished 7th. So, in a car that really isn't that strong, that's a good effort. And then the top 10, I think, were rounded out by Button and Grosjean. The McLaren really nowhere on where it normally is. So they're going to have to work extremely hard if they're going to want to be back anywhere near the front, because in qualifying, Button's lap time was 3 seconds off the Red Bull, and if I was Martin Whitmarsh, that would be incredibly worrying to me. But yeah, so it was a good race all in all, one I thoroughly enjoyed watching, and it was just great to watch, you know, as all the different strategies came to place. It was great to see Suthill leading for all that time, and it just seemed that Vettel just couldn't get anywhere near him. I mean, he got to within that second, but even after that, he just seemed to fall back just a tiny little bit. So, again, I don't think we've seen everything the Force India has to offer either. But it's the first race of the season, so 18 to go. I'm quite interested to see where this season's going to go, because there are some drivers that I don't think we've seen the best of yet, as I've mentioned a few times, but I definitely think there's more to come from Ferrari, Mercedes, well, Ferrari and the Mercedes, especially in Hamilton's hands. It's quite sad that Rosberg didn't make the end, because it would have been interesting to see where he would have ended up in all of this. But, yeah, all in all, a great race, and a great start to the season, and Malaysia's next week, obviously, so I wonder who's going to have the advantage there. As we all know, Alonso won that race last year, with Perez coming second, so I don't know if that'll be one that Perez does a little better in for McLaren, but So, we'll find out next week. Thank you for watching. This has been F1 Talking Points.